Hey, good morning to everybody. Happy Monday. It's Daryl here. It is bright and early, 3:30 a.m. here in Connecticut on the East Coast. This is kind of an impromptu video. I had a video all set to go this morning to download, and it's about Michelangelo's art, his tiny art, and conservative men. And I had that video all made yesterday. I was thinking after I made the previous videos the previous days, so I made that video yesterday and I downloaded it this morning. But while I was downloading that video, I came up with this, I need to talk about something else. I found an article. First, I'll talk about Paul Stanley. I found an article on TMZ about, and it'll be right down below so you can see yourselves. Paul Stanley talking about trans kids, and he's speaking out against transgenderism, saying that he believes, I'll sum it up for you really quick. He's saying that there's a big difference between people that actually adults that actually feel that they are a different sex and should be allowed to transgender, and what's going on today. That it's become a fad with pronouns, and it's a fad with kids. That's kind of summing up what Paul Stanley said. I think he's fallen into, I have some numbers down below because I started looking this up, because I don't think it's changed all that much. Yes, there is more transgender, children are being diagnosed with transgender dysphoria more in the recent years. But in 2020, 43,000 children in the United States were diagnosed with transgenderism. So the Republicans are making this big scare about, oh my God, there's trans, all the liberals are turning their boys into girls and their girls into boys. And it's this huge scare. Paul Stanley speaking out about it now. And I feel like he's an older man that's been watching conservative fear mongering. The real numbers. There's between, I was looking at different years. I think the latest number was in 2019. There's 73 million kids under 18 in the United States. 73 million. Out of those, 43,000 have been diagnosed with gender dysphoria, and that's up. That's the highest number. Back in 2017, it was only about 14,000. So yes, it has increased, but we're still talking about a minute fraction of under 18 Americans that are being diagnosed. A minute fraction. To hear Paul Stanley talk about this, it's like it's a fad now, where every liberal household, they think it's cool. It's fear mongering. This isn't really going on. That's my opinion on this. And my proof is down below. After I saw that ad, I turned on the TV, and on NBC, I think it's Meet the Press, a presidential candidate was on there for the Republicans that's going to run against Donald Trump. His name is Vivek Ramaswamy. I believe he's only like 30-something years old, 40-something, about 40-something years. I think he was born in 1995. And right off the bat, he's saying that he's gonna forge ahead with this anti-woke campaign. And again, it's this fear mongering. And some of the stuff that he was saying was just completely untrue and just disingenuous. I'll have the links down below. I'll see if I could find the actual Meet the Press from this morning. But half the stuff he was saying wasn't even true. And he was talking so fast that I had a hard time even understanding what he was saying. You guys got to see this guy. I didn't even hear of him until this morning. So he's talking about how there's got to be compassion, and we've got to look at both sides and all this. And then in the same breath, he's saying that you have to make it illegal to take away the right of parents to do what's best for their own children. So, because the commentator on NBC said, what's wrong with parents having that right, that if they feel that this is best for their child, being transgender? Why not leave it up to the parent? They know the child best. Why take away that right of the parent? And Vivek Ramaswamy says, well, is it legal to get a tattoo under 18? Is it legal to smoke under 18? No. Yeah, just recently I had reason to look that stuff up. And that is a total lie. In almost every state, it is legal to get a tattoo under 18 if you have the parents' permission. It's up to the parents. And guess what? It's legal for parents to give their children tobacco on private property, and it's legal for the parent on private property to give their kids tobacco products. So what his whole rationale for taking away the parents' right to make this transgender decision was right out the window, right there. And then he went on to this is one of my pet peeves. He went on to talk about the procedure and the reversal of Roe versus Wade. And Republicans keep saying, we should leave it up to the states. We should leave it up to the states. And they keep saying that. But look what's happening here in Connecticut. We are very pro-choice. And just recently, there's a big worry that the pill is going to be taken away, be outlawed across the whole country. And if you listen to some of these candidates, their goal is to outlaw this procedure across the entire country. And he keeps talking about, compassion. He's bringing back this whole compassion, trying to push this compassion conservative. Look what's going on in these states where this procedure is legal, with women being I think it's in Texas. I'll see if I can find the article again. A woman, she was told couldn't be treated. She had a pregnancy that was it was terminal. She could die from it. And the hospital said, we can't do anything for you. The best we can tell you is to sit out in the parking lot. And if you start code, go code blue, we'll take you in. That's the best we can do for you. That's compassion. I know this is a kind of an impromptu video. I'll see if I can find all the links, especially the NBC one. I'll have the link down for Paul Stanley and his fear. I feel bad that Paul Stanley has fallen victim to this conservative fear-mongering that, oh my God, transgenderism. Yeah, and Vivek Ramaswamy was pushing the same thing. He's all these isms. I'm against climate, and he's against, he's against climate science. He's against that. He thinks that's all just a lie, and he's anti-woke and all this other stuff. Oh, man, God, and half the stuff he's saying is just flat out lies. Seriously, it's been disproven. Oh, Vivek Ramaswamy, one last thing. He wants to get rid of the whole FBI, right? Now the conservatives are against the FBI because of what happened to Trump. Before it was defund the police. That was all liberal. Now Vivek Ramaswamy saying we got to tear down because it's Herbert Huber. What was his name? Hoover. It's Hoover's FBI, and it's an old institution, and it needs to be torn down. So he goes like this. He goes, presidents can only serve 8 years. So why should the FBI be allowed? They're a political He starts saying that they're like a political organization. So they shouldn't be allowed to serve more than 8 years. They should be like changed out every 4 or 8 years or elected into their positions or something like that. And I'm like, is this guy crazy? Police, look at police and people that study like serial killers and stuff like that. They need more experienced FBI. This guy is actually suggesting that they turn over the whole FBI employee system every 4 or 8 years or something like that. It's just insanity. I'll leave the links down below. You guys, I'm sorry if this was kind of a little jumbled. I'll leave out the links down below. You guys have a great Monday.